In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the tools you're going to need to get started making jewelry, get started for silversmithing, and some of the things that I wish I knew when I got started, and hopefully give you guys a short list of the different tools that you're going to want to have on your workbench just to get started. You don't need everything, but a few things to cut metal, polish, do some sanding, filing, just the bare minimum to start building from there. And so I got a few pieces here to show you that I've done. Let me just zoom the camera in here, focus it in. I did this scroll pendant by drawing it on a piece of paper, cutting it out with a jeweler's saw, setting an aquamarine, and then graving the pattern into the scrolls. And then for this piece here, this one is made to look like leaves on a vine. Once again, all the simple tools that you can use to make this, like you don't need much. And then I made the whole chain as well from wire, sterling silver wire. And then for this bracelet, it's black onyx stones with 18 gauge sterling silver wire that I used to not wrap the stones, but to set the beads and then jump rings. So those are a few of the pieces that I've made using basic tools. I mean, they're a little bit more intricate patterns, something like the leaves here, but I didn't need all the crazy fancy equipment that you see a lot of jewelers using. So let's get started. I'm going to give you guys some tips, some tools, and hopefully help you out to get started making jewelry. So it's probably obvious, you're going to want a good workbench. I started off by using plywood. I cut it out, I made a nice bench. It was a little bit wobbly, so you could probably reinforce it in a different way than I did. But it worked well. Didn't have enough space for me. It was a little wobbly, like I said, so I upgraded and I built this live edge pecan slab bench. It's about 2 inches thick. My bench pin I needed to do some modification so my bench pin would actually sit on it. But now you can tell it's a sturdy piece of wood. I can mount tools onto it. It's about 9 feet long and it works perfectly. I got my cutout here for me to sit at the jeweler's pin, the bench pin. And if you guys want to see a video on this in the future, let me know. I can give you some tips on how I made this bench. But the next thing you're going to want is a set of pliers. And these ones here are just kind of needle nose jeweler's pliers. These ones are round nose pliers. And then these are the bent tip needle nose. Now these come in a set. I think mine came with about 6 different pliers, but these are the 3 that I use on a day-to-day basis. And I couldn't go anywhere without these, honestly. So you're going to want to get a set of these pliers. They're probably around $25 on Amazon, and you will be using them every single day on your bench. The next tool is the jeweler's saw. Now this one's made in Germany. I got it off Rio Grande, and honestly, it's like the pliers. You're going to be using this every single day, and it's what I use to cut out the scroll pendant. You get the different size blades. And you can see here, they're very, very fine blades. I don't know if you can see that on camera very well, but they're very small blades. If you haven't been into jewelry, it might not be obvious to you, but this is a tool that you're going to be needing more than pretty much everything else. Whether it's cutting wire, it's cutting sheet metal, whatever the case is, a good jeweler's saw is going to be in your arsenal every day. Now, when it comes to getting a jeweler's saw, I've bought them on Amazon in the past when I was starting off, and honestly, like, it kind of worked, but it wouldn't cut straight. I'd have to hold the saw on an angle, and I would honestly say just spend the $30 as opposed to $10 and get one that says it's made in Germany. You don't need to get one of the fancy skeleton frame ones, but if you get one that's made in Germany off Rio Grande or Pepe Tools, and you get a good jeweler's saw, you're going to thank yourself in the future. And whenever you're using a jeweler's saw, I didn't do this because I forgot, but always release the tension on the blade so that you're not stretching the blade, warping the blade when you're not using it, and then just reset it when you're done. But make sure you get a good one. You'll use it every day and you won't regret it. So the next tools I want to talk about are files. Now they're up there with the jeweler's saw, they're up there with the pliers. And I use them every single day, every single time I'm making a piece of jewelry.
use to refine the rough edges, to really dial in the shape of the piece that you're making. And more specifically, I use these little files more often. They take a little bit of material. I can be a lot more finer with the adjustments with them. And then sometimes I'll use these guys too. If I'm making a ring, I'll use this one here. It's got a rounded face on this side. It's got a flat face on this side. And this will get inside of a ring. It works for just shaving off heavy material. And then on the days where I'm doing casting or I'm trying to move a lot of material, I use this big file. I don't use it as often, but it's really, really handy to have. And honestly, as you go with jewelry, you're gonna collect a lot more files. But if you're to start, I would get these small files here. Got a flat one, got a rounded face here, and then this one's just another flat face with a different shape to it. But these are what I use every single day. I can't live without them. And you can collect all kinds of files. Once again, same as the saw, get some good files, get some nice German files, get them off Pepe Tools, off Rio Grande. Don't just cheap out on Amazon. They'll work for a little while, but the high quality tools will be something that'll last for much, much longer, and they'll do finer work. And that's a theme that goes with any jewelry equipment. Now, the next item here is obviously a small torch. You don't necessarily need this if you're just doing wire wrapping, chainmail, anything where you're not soldering, but I use this on a very regular basis. It's great for soldering all the pieces you saw me make. I've used this to solder the bezel, solder the leaves on that pendant, whatever it is. This works beautifully, and it's just refillable. It's a micro flame torch, and I got it off Rio Grande for around $55, and it works phenomenal. And with that, you're obviously going to need some kind of a solder. So you can get sheet solder like this, or you can get stick solder, and whatever the case is, like this works well. The sheet solder is really good if you're soldering a flat item. The stick solder is really nice if you're dabbing the solder on or you're cutting little pieces. Either one works fine, but the time that you get into soldering, I would recommend getting a micro torch with some good flux, and you can start enhancing your pieces. You can start doing more complicated things. And this is a torch that I will be using for years to come for little pieces. It's not as high powered as a acetylene torch, but it does the job really well for small pieces when you're doing fine work and you just want something easy. So you can get these on Amazon or on Rio Grande. Just make sure you're getting a good one and use high quality propane, or high quality butane, sorry, when you're actually refilling this. So the last section of this video is going to be about polishing, and it's kind of a 3-in-1. I got these little polishing bits that I can attach to my Foredom. And you can't see my Foredom, it's up hung on the wall here next to my bench, and I didn't really feel like swiveling the camera everywhere trying to get a crazy angle, but you can get a Foredom. I can't tell you the price off the top of my head. They're going to be a few $100s at least. You can use a Dremel if you really, really want to budget and get started, but if you have a Foredom and you get one, you can polish with it, and that'll save you from getting an actual polishing unit on your bench and a bench polisher. I have both. Honestly, it depends on the day. I got these little felt polishing bits, and then I've got some polishing compound bits that have different grits that I can use. But if you're just getting started, I would recommend getting a Dremel, get a Foredom. If you have the extra cash and you want something that's going to be there for years and years, you can get a Foredom. I've had mine for probably 7 years now, and it's worked amazing. So get a good polishing compound, get yourself a Foredom, and you can choose what type of polishing you want to do, whether it's with the felt bits, the polishing compound bits, the rubber looking ones. And that's going to really be the way to get a nice outcome on your piece, get a nice finish. And I don't polish chains with these. Like if I was polishing this chain, I use a bench polisher because I can hold the chain. I can really control how the polishing is so it doesn't get caught up in the polisher. Now with these, you're going to have a lot more trouble, but You can find a tumble polisher, whatever the case is, whatever kind of jewelry you're making, you can find a polishing solution for that. But there's tons and tons more tools I could go over for you guys. If you want me to do a more in-depth video on the tools I use, I'm happy to do that. But I just wanted to give you an idea, if you're just beginning as a jeweler, the kinds of things that you can get that you know you're going to use to grow your business or grow your hobby, and that you're going to use in the future. Some things that can get you started, build a foundation, and then start adding from there. I've got countless other tools that you can't see in the camera lens that I use every day because I'm making certain types of pieces. But if you just want to get started, what I've listed will be a great foundation, and you can build off that. Search Rio Grande, go through the different websites and find things that you will find useful in the type of jewelry you make. But these are what I use, and these are what I would start if I was rebuilding my jewelry shop. And I hope it helped you guys out. If it did, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.